Welcome to the course on advanced power electronics. So we'll cover today the topic is switch mode power supply. The switch mode power supplies are typically used in the applications like battery chargers, electronic ballast for different lighting systems, and measurement and testing equipment, small rating motors, drives in medical equipment, small rating refrigeration unit, and single stage with power factor correction in many applications. So in these converter, DC voltage is converted to high frequency AC, which is fed to high frequency transformer for adjusting the voltage level, isolation, and obtaining multiple output. And the high frequency AC voltage are rectified using the simple rectifier to achieve regulated DC output voltage source. So the typical application, if you look into like a battery chargers, then computer switch mode power supplies, then electronic ballast, then LED lighting systems, welding applications, then measurement and testing equipment, then small rating motor drive in medical equipment, single stage with power factor correction in refrigeration system, and many other applications. So these are basic building block diagram we look into for switch mode power supply, that we have a input supply single phase or three phase depending upon the power rating. Then we normally use uncontrolled rectifier, and then of course we have another for on DC link, sometime battery backup, and then we have a typically unregulated DC after the filter capacitor, and then we have a DC-DC converter, maybe isolated or non-isolated, usually isolated DC-DC converter with power control, and the regulated output voltage is supplied to the load. So now this DC-DC converter we already covered like three categories, which may be part of this, like chopper, non-isolated, and isolated converter. But in these switch mode power side, normally we use isolated DC-DC converter. And this is the broad typically classification of the DC-DC converter. So out of this, the last category, isolated DC-DC converter, are more favored in general, but of course sometimes we have even a non-isolated DC-DC converter for some application where the voltage ratio is not very large, but where the voltage ratio or reduction is large required, and isolation is also very important. So we go for isolated converter, which are shown the number of categories here, like buck forward, burst forward, flyback, buck half bridge, buck full bridge, boost full bridge, and buck push pull and boost push pull, and Cox epic and Zeta, and many more like. So coming to DC isolated converters, it is typically, you can call it here we have a linear power supply earlier we were using for the purpose. So where we have isolation with the power frequency transfer 50 Hz, 60 Hz, and then rectification followed by a capacitor filter. And here we are using this BJT or transistor as amplifier, which consume the voltage difference, as you can see in the figure below. We need the output voltage less, like we output regulated, but the input voltage, you can call it of this at VD at the capacitor, is normally higher. So remaining voltage is supposed to be absorbed across the transistor. So transistor virtually behave as a variable resistance in this case, so that output release. The advantage, of course, this is that we get a ripple-less and noise-less output voltage. But the disadvantage that we use power frequency transformer as well as the transistor as a amplifier, which have a very large losses. So you will find large heat sink, and large weight of and size of this. We use normally in linear power supply, you might have seen in the laboratory environment, which are quite heavy. Even a 30 to 60 watt power supply is around 5 to 6 kg weight. This is normally only up to the laboratory level. But normally, of course, in practical application, efficiency of this is 30 to 40%. But in practical application, we use switch mode power supply by converting this entire configuration to high frequency, and then using the switch as only as a typically the solid state switch, like which have no losses at conduction, and as well as in off condition. So the basic circuit concept of switch mode power converter or switch mode power supply is, look here. We have a 50 or 60 Hz supply with the MI filter, then rectifier filter, then unregulated DC, which we give for the DC to DC with isolation. Here, so we convert this DC, unregulated DC, to high frequency AC with the converter, and then we have a high frequency transformer. And on the secondary, we have a rectifier plus filter, and the output of this DC regulated voltage we give back for feedback. which we want to regulate with the error amplifier. Normally the PID controller or mini controller are used. And then we have a pendulum controller. With the isolation we give the gating signal. Isolation is required because we give the devices on high voltage side and this control is only on low voltage side normally, like common also. So that's the basic building block of this switch mode power supply used in large number of applications. Of course, depending upon the application, we might have a multiple output, DC also of different voltage and isolated from one to each other, like also. So this is typically, like how typically a multiple output are really obtained from, 1, 2, 3, maybe many more. Even in computer power supply, they are normally around 4, with a 3.3 volt, 5 volt, and then 12 volt, and then sometime in -5 as well as the 21 volt. Right? But we can regulate the voltage only precisely, typically only one voltage, which normally are very delicate, like in computer supply, which normally 3.3 volt, which goes to processor. And of course, because of the turns ratio, other voltage are regulated also within certain range. Like only a minor change in the voltage may be there because of the loading condition. Otherwise, they are designed for really for a precise output voltage. Like so, that's the concept how we really use for multiple output in this switch mode power supply. And of course, the control here we call it amplifier or error amplifier, which normally the maybe a PID controller, so that is steady state error is 0. So we have a reference voltage which we really want from, and then we have a feedback voltage with proper isolation, and we amplified it with proper amplifier like PID controller for reducing steady state error 0 under steady state condition. Then the control is compared with the repetitive waveform like a pendulum waveform, and then we get a control signal to the switch edge and how the really the operation of this, as you can see below that, how the you can call it controller output is compared with the sawtooth waveform, and then gating signal is generated when your reference signal is more than the sawtooth, then the output, the switch is on for remaining period, then your sawtooth waveform higher than the reference voltage is made off. So you can see clearly how the control signal at the output is really generated for. This is a more detail of this, how you can call it the controller, which you call it maybe a PID controller. How it is really designed with the pendulum output and power stage including, and how the output is compared and what is the inside compensator error. Error goes to the how pendulum generator and power stage plus this. So these are typically the inside building block of this switch mode power supply. So for multiple output switch mode power supply, input power quality becomes important in multiple output SMPS, and it is being used in large number of. And of course, IEEE 519 and IC 61000 standard have set some limit on the harmonics and unbalance caused by any electrical equipment. Why this comes? Because this normally this supply is fed from single phase or 3-phase AC supply, and the diode rectifier with the capacitive filter is at the input, so which really causes large harmonics. Of course, reactive power burden is on net there, but harmonics are substantial. That's why this standard are made. So there are supposed to be modification for that. Apart from that, we have to regulate the output voltage. So weighted error approach has been adopted to achieve regulation of all output irrespective of load variation in any of the output. And the weightage are assigned to each output, in many cases of power supply. So these are modification how we do. So we have we have a input supply with diode rectifier with filter, and then we have a DC-DC converter. We have a multiple output. So one way is that you take only one output, another way is that you take the weightage sum of all the outputs so that all are regulated. So you can say how this control is modified so that you get little more precise control of output voltage for the different output, because maybe all DC voltage are supplied for different parts of this. So this is the internal building block for such a modification is this switch mode power supply for control. Normally this power supply, which are normally for the computers, are designed with, they are nowadays used 175 watt, but there may be a lot of variation. Earlier we were using a higher rating like 350 watt. Now it is 175, maybe in future it may go further lower, even 100 watt or 75 watt. And what is the voltage? Normally 5 volt was typically of 18 ampere, and 12 volt is 60 ampere, minus 5 is 0.3 ampere, and 12 volt, minus 12 volt for 0.8 ampere. So these are typically how really you can say total power circuit and is there. Though after that to that, we normally have typically a capacitive filter followed by this flyback converter, which in novel rating normally we use the flyback converter, and which you can see how this flyback converter is there with the isolation transformer. Our flyback inductor is made multiple output, or in the control we give a multiple output also to with the weighted sum to give the to generate the gating signal with the input, even sensing also. And these are typically with the your single-ended primary inductance converter. We can use the different isolated DC-DC converter. So that was the flyback. That's also buck boost category. This SEPIC is also single-ended primary inductance with the multiple outputs. Also another category of buck boost like. And the typically you can say performs a flyback converter switch mode power supply. You can say with the proper design, you can say how input voltage inputs current are there and how the multiple output really varying during the its operation with response to doing when it's starting also. And then typically with the load variation, how really the load, if it is varies on the output, how it is the performance. And then in case of forward converter, there is another converter that how, you can call it the input voltage, input current varies with the modification as well as the output voltage varies and the load variation like. And these are typically the performance with the, you can call it that if in the same power supply we use the different converter like flyback, SEPIC converter, forward converter and CUC converter. And what is the response time and what is the total harmonic, you can call it the TRD with the modification design, especially designed for a specific purpose, these power supplies and all, and voltage ripple too. Now coming to especially computer switch mode power supply. So in computer power supply, the single phase AC mains is feeding a diode bridge rectifier followed by a smoothing DC capacitor, which draws an uncontrolled charging current resulting in a distorted input current. And due to this, many power quality disturbances arise at AC mains such as poor power factor, increased total harmonic distortion of current, and high crest factor of the input current. So such poor power quality depicted by switch mode power supply violates the guideline set by international standard. So this is typically the circuit, you can call it the system configuration for single stage SMPS, that you can have even for some application 3-phase supply, and you may have a diode rectifier and you can have connecting them from 3-phase output in parallel to provide to the parallel load to the power supply. We want to go for high power rating like maybe telecom power supply as well as welding power supply or many other applications for high rating. So coming to with the system configuration for computer power supply here, so we have a single phase AC main, then we have a diode rectifier, and for this in single stage configuration we have an isolated DC-DC converter with a multiple output voltage, and then with the proper feedback we control this single phase of isolated DC-DC converter. Or we can have a 3-phase like typically a diode bridge rectifier, then we have boost converter to regulate the DC, and then we have isolated DC-DC converter. So there are many configurations. This is for 2-stage configuration, that was single stage configuration. And then we have a typically with the power factor correction. So after diode rectifier, normally we put a power factor correction stage and followed by isolated DC-DC converter for this multiple output. And then we have a bridgeless power factor correction converter also in that. So we use the two converters, virtually DC-DC converter, for one for positive half cycle, another for negative half cycle. So diode bridge virtually is eliminated from here, and then we have isolated DC-DC converter for this, for in this switch mode power supply. So coming to typically a first as a conventional diode bridge rectifier fed switch mode power supply. This is the typical configuration if you look into it. Here with the half bridge. So we have a diode rectifier. Of course, it shows the input source impedance. And after that, we have a half bridge, normally used in many applications of this switch mode power supply, existing power supply. And then we have a multiple output at its own with the full wave. Full wave, why we use the full wave? Because in conduction, only one diode comes into conduction, and that's really reduces the losses in the output stage. Now, the output voltage is normally quite low, as we discussed it, even it can be as low as can be 3.3 volt. So even a single diode causes even an additional diode, if we use the bridge, that causes the substantial losses like. And then of course we have a half bridge control with the proper feedback as it is shown here. And of course it was realized in, we took a existing power supply, how it looked like, so how the supply voltage, supply current, and how the total harmonic distortion even on 400 watt power supply, power factor was 0.72 and current was very highly distorted around with the 65.3% TAD. In this case, as you can see, harmonic spectrum of input supply current. So coming to now for typically design and simulation of single phase improved power quality switch mode power supply system for improving the power quality in that. So in this case, as you can see here, before this half bridge converter, what is used here after the diode rectifier, we use the LC filter, and then we use the canonical switching cell converter, which is a buck boost converter. And why it is used the buck boost converter in between your switch mode power converter, half bridge and multiple output, because sometimes you may have a supply voltage quite low, and sometimes you might have a high. And sometimes such power supply, especially for computer, is made for universal. AC means to run really the such as laptop. You may use the laptop probably in North America with the 110 volt, and or maybe in Europe, and typically in subcontinent of India you can use the even 220 volt. So the input voltage may vary from 90 volt to 270 volt, and from typically your, let's say, 50 hertz to 45 hertz to 60 hertz or 70 hertz. So even then this circuit work well without any problem. So if low voltage there, the decoupling voltage can be regulated to 300 volt, which normally obtained from the diode rectifier at the input of the half bridge. And if it is 270 also, it can be reduced by buck operation of this canonical switching buck boost converter in between. Like, so that's the advantage, that what the dual purpose it is serving, that we have a power factor correction as well as we are getting a well regulated output voltage at the input of the half bridge, of this isolated DC-DC converter, and the control is shown here. Of course, we designed this inductor LC in case of this in DCM mode, which really give an inherent power factor current on the supply without sensing input voltage and input current. Like, and this is typically can be even in place of canonical switching converter. We can use the Cuck converter also, and where of course you can, in Cuck converter we have a 3 energy storage element like L1, C1, L2. So there are normally 8 design, one with the CCM and another is with the any one or second element or third element. We might have a discontinuous current or discontinuous voltage across the energy transfer capacitor C1. So normally what we prefer, normally L2 can be designed, L2 inductor can be designed with the DCM, and when we design in DCM we get inherent power factor correction on the supply system. Another advantage, we get the size of the inductor is also reduced, like, and we avoid the sensing of input voltage, input current, so we reduce the 2 sensors also in that case. So you get an advantage, but of course this concept normally preferred to be used in low power supply, and of course this application of computer power supply or many applications are of low voltage, low power applications all. So in the same way you can use simple buck boost converter also, which is of course in input of the two. The advantage of buck boost converter is that you are typically using the minimum device here, the one inductor, one diode and one MOSFET. But the disadvantage is that your input AMI filter size increases because device is coming in series. Like, similarly, you can use the GTI converter also. Typically here also you can design the LZ2 in a DCM, and which give inherent power factor correction. So you have many options for in switch mode power supply, which really can give you, you can call it the retrofit solution, that across the half bridge that VCD output, VDC output can be regulated 300 volt equivalent to the, which it was conventional power supply is about, you can call it the given by diode rectifier, and even input supply can be varies over large. So it give a regulated output DC voltage. Apart from that, it give an inherent power factor correction without sensing input voltage, input current, like the kind of novelty like here. So now coming to the operation of power factor correction converter based switch mode power supply. The operating modes of power factor correction converter, 3 states are operating in one switching cycle for the power factor correction, which are as described as when the PFC switch is on and fast recovery diode is off, when the fast recovery diode is on and PFC switch is off, and when both PFC switch and fast recovery diodes are off. So these are the 3 different modes: when switch is on, when diode is on, and when none of the 2 are on. Typically, so it gives an inherent power factor correction. Even starting with the example of canonical switching converter. So this LC inductor in this case is designed to operate in DCM, which really give a quite low value of this LC inductor. Otherwise it cannot be DCM. So coming to now operating modes of the isolated converter, the operation of half bridge DC converter in one switching cycle, when the top high frequency switch is on and bottom S3 is off, when both high frequency switches are off, or when bottom high frequency switch S3 is on and top switch is off. So when both high frequency switches are off, like, to operate this half bridge converter in this mode, like, satisfactorily, so that you don't have it. And these are the typically, you look into the mode 1, mode 2, mode 3 and mode 4, like, the mode 3 is repeating in both the cases, you can call it. So that's all. So coming to design specification, normally this is the one typical case of, you can have it of of the power supply of decoupling voltage, which you mentioned, input voltage typically taking 220, but it can vary over a wide range. And the output DC voltage you can think about typically with the different, decoupling we have a normally 300 volt, and switching frequency for input stage can be 20 kilowatt. And normally this isolated DC converter are designed for 60 kilowatt, but now of course in many now further going application, we further increase the switching frequency from 60 kilowatts to like maybe 100 kilowatts or even 200 kilowatts, because that again reduces the size of the transformer as well as energy storage element in these converters. And this is typically the MATLAB model developed for this power factor convergence switching converter based switch mode power supply. And these are the typical results. If you look into the input voltage, input supply, then DC link voltage of 300 volts, and the 4 outputs and 4 output loads, current and output voltage, which you can see well regulated DC voltage. And then you can see the typical switch voltage, switch current, and typically the inductor current you can see of that is in DCM, but the capacitor voltage in continuous conduction mode, which give an inherent concept of design. And of course you can see the even the total harmonic distortion of supply current is only 2.8% like. And similarly for typically for you can call it under light load conditions, I mean you can here even light load condition also TID is only 4.7%. This is the performance of Cuck converter for the same operating condition. Here also TIG only obtained 2.66%, but here you can see in the design of input Cuck converter that the you can see that the output inductor current is discontinuous, but the energy transfer capacitor current is continuous, as well as the input inductor current also continuous. Like, so that proves the design that you get inherent power factor correction as you see in the waveform without any much problem. And here, if you can clearly even light load condition also TID only 3.48%. Even you vary the load also, you can clearly see power factor is maintained and supply current is also maintained, sinusoidal in phase with the supply voltage. The case of simple buck boost converter, here also you can clearly see the input in the design in DCM, and here also TID is only 2.67% at the full power level. And then of course if you vary the load, that's also, and still even light load condition also we have a TID only 3.33%, like for different voltage output load variation as you can see in the waveform. Similarly for Zeta converter, in Zeta converter also you can see the clearly the design here, that how the typically the your TID is only 2.33% in case of even full load condition, and load varying condition also you get even sinusoidal current as well as the TIG remain 4.64% like. So this is a comparison of course of performance with the input voltage variation varying from 170 to 270 and 220 base, and then the TID which remains always less than 5%, and displacement factor remain unity because input direct rectifier, and distortion factor also remain 0.99, and power factor also goes 0.99 in all cases, like all converter. So various power factor correction converter based switch mode power supply configuration have been designed, modeled and simulated to improve the power quality of the single phase fed multiple output computer power supply, and all the PFC converter yielded a very low input current harmonics, distortion and high power factor over a wide range of the varying loads and input voltage, well within the power quality norm. And these PFC converter based SMPS are capable of mitigating power quality problems that are present in existing SMPS, such as low power factor and high input current harmonic distortion. Now coming to development of single phase improved power quality switch mode power supply system. So this is typically the configuration with canonical switching converter is designed and developed here, and you see the supply current TID is only 2.5%. That was simulated, it's a hardware, and you can see how the input inductor current, really this inductor is discontinuous current mode, but typically the capacitor voltage in continuous current, like, and now switch voltage, switch current are there, even for 350 or 360 volt, which was reasonably large rating for switch mode power supply. So we get inherent power factor correction without sensing. And this is the case when supply voltage varies from 170 to even 260 volt, and TID remains still typically less than, even in all cases less than 5%, and power factor remain almost like a unity 0.99 order of so in all cases. Like, this is the case when load is varying and how the input current varies, but the sinusoidality of current is input supply current is maintained even under load change. The case of power factor correction Cuck converter used in same switch mode power supply at 350 watt and TID only 2.7%, and you can clearly see all the parameters of like the output voltage, how it is, different output voltage, and the current power factor remain unity in all conditions. Like, and this is typically proving the design that input current is input inductor current is continuous, capacitor voltage of energy transfer is also continuous, but the output inductor current which is designed in DCM to give inherent power factor correction without sensing input voltage, input current is shown here. Like, so this is the case of course under varying input voltage from 170 to 253, and you will get even all cases almost power factor unity or 0.99. TID always gets, even under full load condition TID only 3%. Of course in light load condition goes for 0.9%. As is the case, of course, simple PFC buck boost converter, switch mode power supply same. And for here also you get TAD 2.5% with a power factor almost unity in that case also. And this is the case under varying input voltage with 170 to 270, and you get a power factor unity always. In even in case of float, even light load condition, you get the TAD less than 5% like. And this is of course PFC in Zeta converter case. These all converter are designed in the lab and develop it, and you get the TAD 2.9% with power factor unity almost, you can say here. And the well regulated output DC voltage, different DC voltage. And of course, in this Zeta converter, to prove here, you can just see how this Zeta converter output inductor current is DCM, but the input inductor current and capacitor voltage are remain continuous like. And this is under varying voltage Zeta converter performance at varying voltage 170 to 260, and power factor here also remain almost unity in all cases with the TAD even less than 4.5% in all cases. So this is a comparison of different converter, canonical switching converter, buck boost converter, Zeta converter. And in all cases, TAD remain less than 5%, power factor remain closer to unity, like even in all experimental cases also developed. So various PFC power factor correction converter based switch mode power supply system have been developed based on the design and simulated result, and the improved power quality power factor correction based switch mode power supply meet the requirement IEEE 5.1 standard as well as IEC 61000 standard, and it is evident that the power quality has significantly improved by employing the buck boost converters based switch mode power converter for computer power supply, and test results have shown that the total harmonic distortion of input current remains below 5% and the power factor remains above 0.98, which meets the requirement of IEEE 519 standard. Now coming to design and simulation of single phase improved power quality bridgeless AC/DC converter based switch mode power supply. So you can see here, we don't have a diode bridge. So what we have here, the two canonical switching converter, one for positive half cycle, another negative half cycle. We completely don't eliminate diode bridge, but we typically eliminate almost like a half number of the devices. Then again, of course, the second part of switch mode power supply is not changed, that is half bridge with the multiple output. So here also we get you can call it both the positive half cycle, negative half cycle converters. Because these are DC-DC converters, so they can run, of course, one connected in positive, another negative with opposite voltage, and that work well for this power factor correction and designing of this inductor LP and LN in DCM. So their value is quite low. So you can say size of the does not increase, but losses are reduced because of bridgeless configuration. And this is the case with the bridgeless, you can call it the converter. So you can clearly see here there is no diode bridge rectifier, and you will get regulated DC output voltage. The advantage of even the input EMI filter size is also reduced because input inductor, you can call it L1, is designed for CCM. Only output inductor LP and LN are designed in case of DCM like. And you know to sense the input voltage, input current, and you get a well regulated at the DC link, well regulated 300 volt as have been found, considering as a retrofit solution to replace diode rectifier at the input, and you get inherent power factor on the supply side also. And this is the case of if we use the simple bridgeless buck boost converter, typically in case of same power supply, or you use the bridgeless Zeta converter, one for positive half cycle, negative half cycle. So coming to operating modes of bridgeless power factor correction converter. So in positive half cycle of AC voltage, the upper power factor correction converter operates, and these three modes of operation in one switching cycle. So when PFC switch is on and fast recovery diode is off, when the fast recovery diode is on and power factor correction switch is off, and when both PFC switch and fast recovery diode are off. So in negative half cycle of AC voltage, the lower PFC converter operates, and the lower converter operates in the similar manner as the upper converter, positive one. And these are typically the modes. You can clearly see that how it is operating, upper converter for all three modes, and then how the lower converter in all. So you will get a 3 modes for upper converter, 3 modes for lower converter like. And these are typically again the supply specification, typically. And then these are of course the simulated result for typically with the multiple output. And here you can see again, the input, your typically the TAD here of input supply current is only 2.44%. And this is the case well to prove within the design that how the input inductor current for this your bridgeless buck boost converter are designed in DCM, in ILP and ICM, ILM appears for positive and negative half cycle as well as they are dispensed, and TAD is only 4.68% like at full load. Similarly for light load condition also TAD is around 5%. So various Bridgeless buck boost converter have been used at the front end of computer power switch mode power supply to improve the power quality, and the output DC voltage of bridgeless buck boost converter have been maintained constantly independent of changes in the input voltage and operated in discontinuous mode to achieve the inherent power factor correction at single phase AC main. A satisfactory performance has been achieved during the varying input voltage and loads with power quality indices within the acceptable limit of IEC 61032. And these of course supplies are developed in bridgeless configuration. So these are the result of experimental result for bridgeless Cuck converter based switch mode power supply, and you just see here in at full load and rated load 218, we have TAD only 4.5% with the only power factor almost unity, you can say, like here. And this is a case of typically under steady state how your design is proving that the inductors are designed for typically in DCM for positive and negative half cycle. Like is the case under varying input voltage 172 to 50 volt, and the power factor remains always above around 0.9 or unity, and TADs remain around less than 8%, about 7% under light load condition, but full load condition the TAD is order of typically you can call it even 4.8%. And this is the case of bridgeless buck boost converter. And TAD is here also power factor unity, and TAD is only 5.8%. And this is proving the design that the inductor of the buck boost converter are designed in discontinuous mode. So positive converter operates in positive half cycle, negative converter operates in negative half cycle, showing that these current only appear in positive and negative half cycle also. And this is the case when typically we have a variable voltage 170 to 270 volts, and still power factor is close to unity in all cases, and TAD is also remain even less than around 8%, less than 10% under varying load condition. So here various bridgeless PFC converter based switch mode power supply system have been developed based on the design and simulated result. The improved power quality PFC converter based SMPS meet the requirement of standard IC 61000, and the power quality has significantly improved by employing the bridgeless buck boost converter based switch mode power configuration for computers, and test result have shown that the TAD of input current remains below 6% and the power factor remains unity at full load condition. Now coming to a case study 1 with a single phase buck boost flyback AC/DC converter in DCM, and this is a typical case. You can look into how after the diode rectifier we are using a small filter capacitor with the flyback converter and with the feedback of single output, and you can see how is proving that how it is in DCM. So first the current increases when switch is on, goes to 0 to peak, and when switch is off at DTS, that is on period, then the diode current really is responsible to decreasing from that peak to 0, and there is a third interval when there is no diode as well as the switch are conducting, and you get the voltage across 0 across the inductor as you look into primary voltage. So during on you have some positive voltage during diode conduction. When switch is off, so you have a negative voltage, and when none of the switch are, so you experience the 0 voltage across the primary of this flyback transformer. So this is the case again. This typically case of if you are designing in CCM. So of course in CCM you need the feedback from input supply input voltage. So in taking input voltage input after diode rectifier we take input voltage input current. Advantage of course is called single stage, so we use a CF very low value in this case. Like, so of course coming to the design equations for in DCM, the average input current over a switching cycle is I1, that is half I peak, and dt is the duty cycle, where I peak is the peak input current, that is the switch current, and d is the duty cycle. And from this figure it is given I peak equal to dTs upon Lm into V1R, that is rectified voltage from the diode rectifier or input voltage of this flyback converter, where V1R is the rectified input voltage and Lm is the transformer magnetizing inductance referred to primary. So from these equations we get the I1 equal to d square Ts upon 2 Lm VLR. So in this case you can find for a given duty cycle output voltage, you can call it the frequency is fixed, TS is fixed, for transformer Lm is fixed, and duty for F1 operating condition D is fixed, and then this rectified voltage also followed the input current line. So in this case the equations represent nicely PFC operation in DCM, and clear that input cycle and switching frequency are kept constant. Then the input current is a linear function of input voltage, which can be written as I1 equal to capital I1 sin omega t, where V1 sin omega t, so I1 becomes V1 d square Ts upon 2 Lm. So you can say for one operating you will find that the input the current is following the input voltage, that virtually giving a, it's also called the voltage follow approach, and it's called power factor correction. It is given inherently. So input current is nothing but the rectified AC mains current, and that is from this equation it is clear by keeping the duty cycle and switching frequency constant. The average input current in flyback converter in discontinuous mode follows the input voltage exactly, thus emulating a resistance, and is known as the voltage follower technique. Therefore, flyback converter behave as an ideal current shaper and performs current shaping automatically with no control when operating in discontinuous mode. So design of the converter depends on whether it is working in discontinuous or continuous. So the transfer function of flyback converter in DCM is given VO equal to dV1R divided by D1N, where N is the turns ratio, and the for DCM operation condition D plus D1 is less than 1, where D is the period of duration for corresponding to on the device on, and D1 is corresponding to conduction period corresponding to diode. Of course, that is less than 1 because some period should be there, none of the two are conducting for DCM operation. So for the desired maximum duty ratio at the minimum input voltage, the turns ratio can be obtained by satisfying the inequality constraint, and should be greater than D upon 1 minus D, V1 upon VO. So in order to ensure the DCM operation at maximum load, the following condition must be satisfied. So LM must be less than RL minimum divided by 4F in bracket 1 upon N plus V upon 1 V1 minimum square. So where minimum is the peak value of the minimum input voltage, RL minimum is the minimum value of the load resistance, and Fs is the switching frequency. The output capacitor is selected on the basis of maximum peak to peak ripple, and output CO should be greater than VO divided by RV omega RL. And stress on semiconductor switch in DCM can be given by the following case. The peak current, so the switch is your IS peak equal to V1 D TS divided by LM, and peak voltage across the switch is your VS peak equal to V1 plus N V0. And similarly, peak current through diode is your IDO peak equal to N square VO D1 TS upon LM, and the peak voltage across the diode can be V diode peak equal to V1 upon N plus VO. Now the operation, typically for CCM operation, the transfer function given VO equal to dV1R divided by 1 minus Dn, and thus a similar manner as in DCM. For desirable maximum duty ratio, the turns ratio is determined. However, the magnetizing inductance of the transformer is defined by satisfying the following inequality. LM should be greater than LM max divided by 4Fs in bracket V upon V1 minimum square. Reflecting the figure, switch current for half ripple is given I switch PO O maximum divided by VL minimum eta, that is efficiency D max. So from the figure, switch current for ripple delta S is given as IS peak equal to IS SH plus delta ISW by 2, where ISW is your V1 minimum D max TS upon LM, and switch RMS current is given IS RMS in bracket under root D max in bracket IS switch IS peak square minus I delta ISW plus ISW peak plus half 1/3 delta ISW square. Similarly, diode current at half the ripple is given IDH equal to IO max divided by 1 minus D max, and from figure, diode peak current for ripple delta ID is given by ID PK will be IDH plus delta ID by 2, where delta ID equal to VO 1 minus D max TS divided by L2. So taking a typically a example of with the specification, supply voltage V1 is 220 volt RMS and 50 Hz single phase supply. Output voltage is 110, P equal to 1 kilowatt. Output voltage is less than 2%. Switching frequency is, let's say, 50 kilowatt, and design for CCM. The transformer turns ratio taken 1.5 to 1, and magnetizing its LM considered 50 microhenry. So LF is 1 millihenry and CF is 800 nanofarad, and CO equal to 15 millifarad from the design. And this is the performance after the simulation. So how the source voltage and source current in case of DCM at 100% load, and how it is the steady state output voltage in DCM. And you can clearly see the output voltage varies only typically 1 volt. Only the ripple. So that's less than 1% typically. And this is the case of your CCM. You can say current while supply voltage, supply current, and the steady state output voltage, which have ripple even less than 1%. And this is the comparison for DCM and CCM. Of course, you will find input TAD, of course, in CCM little better than DCM, but of course in all cases power factor remain closer to unity. And of course the comparison, of course you have a peak control also have to modify. In DCM we use the voltage follower mode, and in case of CCM we use average current control. These are the experimental results of developed single phase buck boost flyback converter with load variation. So you can clearly see how the input supply input current follows the voltage with the inherent power factor correction, and when the typically with the load how output voltage really varies. Coming to case 2 with the single phase buck boost single-ended primary conductance AC/DC converter in discontinuous current mode. So these are typical case of SEPIC converter circuit. If designing a DCM, then we know to sense the input voltage, input current. Only we sense the output voltage and regulate the output voltage, and that is the gate signal for the single switch in this single stage PFC converter with the isolation. And these are of course the for DCM the design 3 modes, and the device conducting, diode conducting, and none of the 2 are conducting in the last one. And the another typically the case of in case of design for CCM. In CCM, of course, output voltage is regulated, but after that we have to sense input voltage, input current as shown in the diagram for the control. The control have to be modified accordingly. And then this is in case of CCM, you have a 2 mode for typically in that case. So now coming to this specification for as a case study, the input voltage is 230 volt, 50 hertz single phase supply, output voltage is 110 volt, and power is 1.5 kilowatt. With the output voltage 2% ripple with the you can say 50 kilowatt. Transformer turns you take 1 to 1, and L1 is taken 100 microhenry, L2 is 8.1 microhenry, C1 1 microfarad, and CO equal to 30 millifarad, and control parameter gain are given here. So the typical case from DCM, I mean you can see supply voltage, supply current, and output voltage ripple less than 1%. And this case of performance some CCM and DC converter. So of course current shape is little better, and this is the comparison. You can say the TAD of course is lower in case of your CCM operation. And these are experimental results for SEPIC converter which are developed in the laboratory environment. And when the load varies, load increases, the supply current increases, but the supply current shape remains in phase with the supply voltage, and it has inherently the perfect correction. Like coming to case study third with the single phase zeta converter in case of DCM. So this is a case of zeta converter where again we regulate the output voltage. Since we are designing a DCM, so input power factor correction inherently achieved in this case also. And of course 3 modes. When switch conducting, where diode conducting, none of the 2 are conducting. That's for third mode. And this is the phase of CCM. Only you have to have output voltage, but you have to sense the input voltage, input current as you can see in the control line. And of course, there are only 2 modes: when device conducting, diode conducting, and there is no third mode in this case. So coming to the specification for this, supply voltage 220 volt, 50 hertz single phase supply, output voltage 48 volt with a 1 kilowatt output, which are of course with number of applications like maybe even today EV chargers, I mean of light electric vehicle, switching frequency 50 kilowatts, and transformer ratio 5 to 1, and inductance is your magnetizing inductance of 100 microhenry, LF is 3 millihenry, and LO 10 millihenry, and C1 10 microfarad, CO equal to 22 microfarad, and CF is 100 nanofarad. And these are typical case for in case of DCM, how the supply voltage, supply current, and how the your output voltage hardly varying typically, I mean vary 1%. And this is case of CCM, the performance in of input voltage, input current, and output voltage. And this is a case of experimental result. And you can see input supply voltage, input current, even load is increased. Then you can say supply current increases, I mean like, and load removal, the supply current reduces. But power factor is generally maintained. We can see supply current remain. This is the typical, you can say the relative performance where the of course TAG is little lower in case of CCM. Now coming to practical implementation for various applications, the case of voltage controlled power factor correction converter based brushless, your permanent brushless motor die, and where of course we are using diode rectifier followed by converter, and then we have inverter fed a BLDC motor, maybe driving air compressor, your air conditioner. In this case, what we are varying, I mean from converter, we are of course designing in case of LO in DCM. So advantage of LO DCM means we get inherent power factor correction. The size of LO is also low, and then we vary the voltage at the DC link so that inverter only operate in electronics commutation mode. So we get inherent power factor correction even varying over a wide voltage range, and we are able to control the DC link voltage to control the speed of this BLDC motor with the inherent power factor correction. These are of course the simulated result. You can see how typically on speed variation we can vary the voltage, but supply remain sinusoidal in phase with the supply voltage. Then you can see lower how the torque and current of the BLDC motor there, but TAD of supply current is only 2.2%. And these are the experimental results typically corresponding to what is starting as well as speed control, and the TAD of supply current only 4.1% with almost power factor close to 0.99. Now this is another converter for the same PMSM, I mean, the Zeta converter here also, this CF is very small, and we only design this L1 in DCM, LO in DCM, so which give inherent power factor correction. And I mean, indirectly here we are not sensing input voltage, input current, even varying volt voltage range. And this is the simulator volt performance. You can see DC link voltage maintain constant, and when load is varying, the voltage is starting also, as well as load fluctuations is shown, variation is shown, but input voltage, input current remains in phase, as well as TAG remains as low as maybe 3.85%, as you can see in the simulator. And this is experimentally also implemented in the laboratory, and you can see how the supply current remains in phase with the supply voltage, and the shape is also closer to sinusoidal, even varying load condition. And this is a case, of course, typically when you control the speed, like, and of course TAG remain here at full load to 3.2%, like load of around 7%. The case of a welding, I mean, similar concept is used for welding power supply, where we use, of course, you can call it the bridge isolated DC-DC converter, as you can show here. And the input supply voltage, again, we have a diode rectifier followed by the input power factor correction converter. As you can see, the simple input boost converter, we give the constant voltage at the bridge, full bridge converter, isolated DC-DC converter, and then we have a secondary output voltage for controlling the current. So this is the typical circuit of it. I mean, this is the half bridge and the output because voltage is low, and how the power factor correction is achieved. Like, these are the simulated waveforms, like, and it's experimental waveform typically for the application when your load is increased, and of course primary voltage and primary current to prove that it's working fine. I mean, different component value. So now coming to numerical problem. So starting from first numerical, find the optimum value of A, the DC side inductor, the DC link capacitor for single phase boost PFC AC-DC converter with following specification. The rated output power is 1000 watt, the output voltage 400 volt, and the voltage ripple is 0.02 per unit or 2%, and input conductance 0.05% per unit or 5%. The line frequency 50 Hz, the supply voltage 230 volts, switching frequency 40 kHz under a continuous conduction mode, operation of DC side inductor. So you can just see here how the circuit of this and how the control is there typically with the, of course, input voltage, input sensing, and how the you get a performance, like you can see supply voltage closer to sinusoidal in phase with the supply voltage, and these are the calculated value. So we have a solution here for power 1000 watt, output voltage 400 volt, supply voltage 30 volt, frequency swing frequency 40 kHz, and supply frequency 50 Hz, and of course rectified voltage of input comes after rectified 207 volt. So we have a output current that is from 1000 to output of 2.5 ampere. Duty cycle we can calculate that way VO minus V in divided by VO, and then I in we can get from this power invariancy 1000 divided by 275.83. So optimum value of DC capacitor comes CD I0 upon 2 omega delta V. It comes 497.2 microfarad, and DC side inductor is calculated LO equal to V D upon Fs in delta. So it comes 10.34 millihenry. So coming to second numerical problem, find the value of DC side inductor and the DC link capacitor for a single switch boost PFC AC-DC converter with the following specification. The rated power is 150 watt, the output voltage 400 volt, the output voltage ripple is 0.5%, and the line frequency 50 Hz, the supply voltage 230 volt, maximum frequency 20 kHz under the boundary condition mode of the DC side. You can just see here, after direct rectifier a small capacitor, then we have a boost converter, and that maintains typically the supply current sinusoid. So coming to calculation, our equivalent load is output V upon IO. It comes from the output 150 watt divided by 400, so it comes 1.06 kilo ohm, and then we have output current 150 watt 400 0.375, and duty cycle V of minus V divided by, so it gets 0.4825, and we can get a boundary condition corresponding to L minimum, that is equal to D into 1 minus D square into R upon 2 Fs. So we get the 3.43 millihenry, and design of DC link capacitor CD equal to IO upon 2 omega delta V. So it comes 29.84 microfarad because of high volt. So coming to numerical problem third, find the value of the DC side inductor and the DC link capacitor of a single switch boost PFC AC-DC converter with the following specification. The rated power 500 watt, the output voltage 400 volt, the voltage less than 5%, and line frequency 50 Hz, the supply voltage 230 volt, and the switching frequency 20 kHz under the discontinuous conduction mode of the inductor. So after the design, these are the waveform, and this is a solution that you have a I equal to P upon V, that comes 1.25, and RO V upon I, that comes 320 ohm, and D comes VO minus V in divided by, so it comes 0.4825. The L minimum for DCM comes D into 1 minus D square R upon 2F, so it comes 1.03 millihenry. Hence the value of inductor should be less than 1.03 milli to ensure DCM in all operating conditions. And design of DC capacitor CD equal to I upon 2 omega delta V, that comes 99.47 microfarad. So coming to numerical problem 4, calculate the value of A, the output voltage ripple, and the inductor current ripple of single phase PFC boost converter with the following specification: rated power 1 kilowatt, 1000 watt, output voltage 100 volt, the DC side capacitor 1500 microfarad, the boost inductor 5 millihenry, and the line frequency 50 hertz, and supply voltage 230 volt, and switching frequency 20 kilowatts in CCM. So you can see the circuit of this after direct pad with the PFC converter, boost converter, and you can see a simulator result that how the supply current is maintained answer or output voltage regulated with the load. So coming to the solution, so I input is PO upon V in, that's a 4.83, R equal to VO upon IO, so 160 ohm, and I0 equal to PO upon V0, that's 2.5, and duty cycle comes again in the same manner, VO minus V in divided by 0.4825, and CD comes I0 to omega delta V equal, putting a value, it comes your delta V capacitor is given, so we get delta V equal 2.65 volt, and percentage in output 2.65400, so it comes 0.66 into 0.6631 and percent, and L equal to V in the D upon Fs into delta I, putting value it come 5 into 10 power minus 3, that's a 5 millihenry, and delta Li is equal to calculate 1, and percentage ripple input current comes 1.483, that is a 20.7%. Coming to numerical problem 5, find the optimum value of AC side inductor and DC side capacitor for bridgeless boost PFC AC/DC converter to switch converter with the following configuration: rated power 1000 watt, output voltage 380 volt, output ripple is 3%, less than 3%, input ripple current less than 4%, line frequency 50 hertz, supply voltage 230 volt RMS, and the switching frequency 20. You can see the circuit here. I mean, one converter operating in positive half cycle, another negative half cycle. That's why you call it a bridgeless boost converter. So here also typically given specification, so we rectified it 0.9 VS, that's 207, and I equal to P upon VO, that's come 2.6, 1000 divided 380, 2.63, and I in equal to P upon V, that's 4.83, and D VO minus V in upon divided by VO, so it comes 0.5455, and CD is equal to IO upon 2 omega delta V, so it comes 367.36 microfarad, and Li equal to P in D divided by Fs into delta I, so it comes 0.024 or 20 millihenry. So coming to problem 6, the example 6, the calculate the value of A, the output voltage ripple, and the input current ripple for two switch boost PFC AC/DC converter, bridgeless PFC converter with the following specification: rated power of 1000 watt, output voltage 400 volt, the DC side capacitor 1500 microfarad, and the boost inductor 5 millihenry, the line frequency 50 hertz, and the supply voltage 230 volt, and the switching frequency 20 kilo. So you can see the circuit how the bridgeless boost converter, so one converter operate positive half cycle left side, negative side operate in negative half cycle, and you get regulator voltage across the loop. So coming to here the solution, all the equations are given. So IO equal to P upon VO, that's come 1000 divided 400 2.5, I PO upon V, so it comes 48.3, and equivalent load resistance RO equal to V upon I0, that's 160 ohm, duty cycle VO minus V upon VO, that's a 400 divided by, so 0.4825, and CD is I0 upon 2 omega delta I, so putting value 2. This value it comes typically delta V for given capacitance of 1500 microfarad comes 2.65 volt, and percentage ripple is 2.65 divided 400 0.6631. Li is putting the value delta IL in go come 0.99, and delta IN percentage 0.99 divided 4 to 20.67. Coming to numerical problem 7, find the value of AC side inductor. The DC link capacitor for the two switch boost converter for AC/DC converter for the following specification: rated power 250 watt, the output voltage 400 volt, the output ripple less than 5%, like frequency 50 hertz, and the supply voltage 230 volt, and the maximum swing weight 20 kilowatts under the boundary condition of the, that's called BCM of the DC side. So you can clearly see the input inductor and the two boost converter, positive half cycle, negative half cycle, and then the output capacitor. There also for solution, IO equal to P upon V0 come 0.625, and equivalent load resistance in output V upon I0 640 ohm, and D equal to PO minus V in divided by 0, that comes 0.4825, and for BCM the parameter calculated as CD equal to I0 upon 2 omega delta V, putting value for it comes 49.73 microwatt, and L minimum equal to D into 1 minus D square into R divided by 2Fs, and putting a value it comes 0.206 millihenry. Coming to numerical problem 8, a single phase bidirectional boost PFC half bridge converter, also known as a voltage source converter, draws 1000 watt from 230 volt 50 Hz mains for resistive load. The switch matches 20 kilowatts and AC inductor is 3 millihenry. The power factor is corrected close to unity and PWM model X index 0.8. Determine the output DC voltage, the value of resistance DC load and AC mains current, and phase shift in supply voltage and PWM supply voltage. So you can see circuit here, the input inductor with the half bridge and then output capacitor with the load. So here the supply current IS1 RMS value P upon Vs cos theta. So 1000 divided by 230 into 1, that's 4.34, and XS equal to reactance equivalent of inductor omega Ls, that comes 0.942, and the V converter comes Vs square plus VL1 square, so it comes to 30.06 putting value, and where the VL1 is XS IS1, so it comes 4.088 volt. And now the DC link voltage VDC 2 into root 2 V con upon M, so it comes 813.3 volt, and the equivalent load resistance RDC VDC square by P, putting value it comes 661.5. So phase shift in fundamental component of PWM voltage and supply delta equal to sin inverse XS P upon Vs into V converter, it comes 1.01 degree. So coming to numerical problem 9, a single phase voltage source converter based AC/DC bridge converter, also known as a voltage source converter, is used to solar PV grid interface system with the power flow of 5000 watt connected to the AC 230 volt 50 Hz, switching frequency 50 kHz, and AC inductor is 2.5 millihenry. The power factor close to unity and maximum modulation is 1, and the two operating linear. Determine the minimum input solar PV array DC voltage for power from DC solar PV to AC grid and the AC mains current. Calculate the power angle between the grid voltage and fundamental current, and this. Typically you can see the converter. Of course, in place of load we have a solar panel. So coming to IS1 equal to P upon Vs upon cos theta, it comes 5000 divided by 230 into 1, so 21.739. XS equal to omega Ls, so it comes 0.78, and VL1 equal to XS IS1, that comes 17.0665 volt, and V converter equal to under root Vs square plus VL1 square, that comes to 30.63, and DC link voltage VDC equal to root 2 V converted by M, so it comes 326.16 volt, and the phase shift between the PWM voltage, fundamental PWM voltage, and your AC voltage, so delta equal to sin inverse XS Vs upon V con and Vs, that comes 4.34 degree. Coming to numerical problem 10, a single phase bidirectional boost PFC AC/DC converter, known as a voltage source converter, has power flow of 4000 watt in either direction of battery energy storage system 360 volt connected to 230 volt 50 Hz, the switching frequency 20 kHz, and AC inductor is 3.5 millihenry. The power factor is corrected close to unity. The converter is controlled in such a way that AC mains current is either in phase or out of phase in AC mains. Determine the modulation index under charging and discharging modes at full power. Calculate the power angle between the grid voltage and fundamental voltage of voltage source converter and the grid current in both modes of charging and discharging. So given here, power is 4000 watt, Vs equal to 30 volt 50 Hz, power factor is 1, and VDC 360 volt. So coming to with the circuit here, so IS1 equal to P upon Vs into cos theta, putting value comes 17.39 ampere, XS equal to omega Ls, and putting value comes 1.099, and VL1 XS into IS1, so it comes 19.11, and V converter is under Vs square plus VL1 square 230.79, and the DC linkage or VDC equal to 2 V converter by M, so putting value M comes 0.9066, and the phase shift in fundamental of PWM and the supply voltage delta equals sin inverse XS into P divided by V into V con, putting value it comes 4.75 degree. These are the references which are used for developing this lecture material, and thank you.